A Russian submarine almost shot and sunk a US Coast Guard ship. We're going through a very delicate time, fellas. Very dangerous. Yes, a Russian submarine almost sunk a US Coast Guard ship. Why? Because a US Coast Guard ship was chasing after a tanker. A rusting tanker. I'm sure you've seen these pictures before. A rusting tanker that was attempting to get oil from Venezuela and basically evaded the US enforced blockade in the Caribbean. The United States of America has got a blockade in the Caribbean against everything that's going to Venezuela, especially tankers, oil tankers, and this one evaded. And after evading, US Coast Guard pursued them. They pursued the tanker, okay, and they tried to seize the tanker because they say it's stateless. A stateless vessel is basically a vessel or a tank or a ship that goes to the ocean without a flag, without a formal identification. And US consider these tankers as being ghost tankers trying to help Venezuela. American crew tried to board the ship. So the people on the boat, on this rusting boat, refused to let American soldiers on board. And then they left hastily. It basically became a chase. The American Coast Guard ship following this rusting tanker. And as they were going, the people inside the tanker repainted the tanker and they painted the flag of Russia. It was renamed from Bella 1 to Marinera. This is some crazy stuff looking like from the movies, isn't it? Once again, US Coast Guard ship almost sunk by Russian submarine. Why? Because they were following a tanker. This empty tanker was supposedly going to Venezuela to get oil. Now, why is that a problem? Because Venezuela's oil is sanctioned by the United States of America, and US has enforced a blockade. And the US military in the sea believed that tanker was going to Venezuela. Therefore, sanctioned is said to be arrested. Now, after they tried to get onto this boat, this vessel, they refused them entry and they left hastily. And as they were leaving, they repainted the boat and they painted the flag of Russia and renamed the boat Marinera. As soon as it was done, Russia formally protested diplomatically toward the United States of America. After protesting, they deployed the naval assets, including at least one submarine and other vessels escorting the tanker. So the tanker was going toward Venezuela. Americans trying to capture it. They ran away. Americans trying to board onto the tanker. They say, you're not getting in. They repainted the tanker and they painted the Russian flag. And they gave it a name and a registration number. Russia officially said that tanker belongs to us. You have no right to board it. It's a civilian tank. It has the right of free navigation. So you cannot touch it. And in the same token, after protesting diplomatically, they sent a submarine and other war vessels to escort this tank. This is some crazy stuff, fellas. As of January 7, the Marinera was tracked northeast in the North Atlantic, near or between Iceland and the UK. So basically, it's living very much free without no problem. But that was very close call between the American Coast Guard and the Russian submarine. So a lot of miscalculation can come across in this situation, and we can very fast find ourselves in World War III. This is some crazy stuff happening. Now, I know you're asking yourself a question like, why does the US feel like they can just sanction people's tank and take them by force? I mean, they have rules. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, can't a tank just go to Venezuela in the name of friendship or get oil from Venezuela? I mean, who gives the United States of America the right to say, we sanction you, you cannot get your stuff out of your country, or you cannot become a friend of anybody? Well, that's how the world works, fellas. Unfortunately, let me break this down for you so we can understand now. So being sanctioned in America, in this case, normally sanctions are done by an office in the United States of America. It's called the Office of Foreign Asset Control, or OFAC. This is an office in the state where they write a list of people they want to sanction, a list of countries they want to sanction, and institutions. So there are two types of sanction. There's primary sanction and secondary sanction. Primary sanction prohibits U.S. person to deal with Venezuela oil sector. We're talking about Venezuela here. So an American citizen cannot deal with anything looking toward Venezuela oil. If you do it, you're going to be in trouble with the government. Secondary sanction allows the U.S. to target non-U.S. citizen or foreign entities or companies for certain activity involving sanctioned Venezuela oil. So even if you're not an American, you're from another country, you're from Togo, you're from Mali, from Burkina Faso, you're from Gabon, you want to buy oil from Venezuela, the United States of America can sanction you from buying from Venezuela. They can basically freeze your assets or disable you from operating. We'll explain that just now. I know it doesn't sound right. Like, just because you have a beef with Bob doesn't mean everybody has to have a beef with Bob. Well, because you have strong muscles, then you can enforce nobody talking to Bob because you're pissed off. So sanctions is basically a way that the US will freeze your money or your property. If you have money or properties in a state and you are sanctioned by the US, well, your properties are gone. And if anybody deals with you while you're sanctioned by the US, their properties may be gone too. So on the secondary sanction is basically like anything that you have that's American. If you have a bank card that linked to an American bank, it's sanctioned. You cannot have access to it. If you have dealing with companies that's American, they may be sanctioned and they will choose not to deal with you anymore. Now, there's something very tricky here. Officially, it says only Americans cannot deal with a sanctioned country like Venezuela. Okay, don't touch Venezuela's oil. If you're an American, don't do it. Officially, it also says that countries from other places in the world can deal with Venezuela, no problem. But unofficially, they have to go through OFAC. So if any country in any other place in the world wants to buy Venezuela's oil, they have to go through OFAC to do an open deal. Now, I'm not sure, does OFAC benefit from that? If you go directly to Venezuela, you can't have a deal. You can't buy oil. But you have to get an authorization by Americans for you to buy oil from Venezuela. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. I really want to know from you. If you want to deal with Venezuela, you have to go through the United States of America, through the Office of Foreign Assets Control. They have to issue you with a permit or sort of a certificate to get access to Venezuela's oil. If you don't do that, you are doing it illegally with a sanctioned country. Does that sound like sanction or sanction via interest? I don't know. Let me know how you feel about that. So again, we all know that Nicolas Maduro was abducted. Kidnapped. Captured. Whichever they want to use. It depends. When you say abducted, kidnapped, or captured, it all sounds very close, but they're very different. It gives it all entire different meaning. Now, Maduro is not there anymore. Some people believe that Maduro was captured because Donald Trump was pissed off that Maduro was imitating his dance. You see Donald Trump's dance? Look at how Maduro was trying to dance like Trump.
They've been after this guy for years and years and years. And, he's a violent guy. He gets up there and he tries to imitate my dance a little bit.
This guy's crazy, trying to dance like somebody that clearly doesn't like you, but you're dancing like him, you're doing this just to piss him off. That's another level of craziness. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. Is Russia going to allow this? Is this some of the closest way we're going to get into World War III? Were the Americans too courageous to try to follow a ship they clearly knew because they know it's involved with the Russians? Was that a way for them to send another message? Since we can bombard Venezuela, we can also abduct your Russian vessel. Or what? Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.